What's happening, guys? Welcome to a new episode of JessterRadio. It's the business podcast today. And if you want to save on supplements, cream of rice, you can use the code Marchmadness to save 20% off on Nutricon products and use the code JessterRadio to save 15% off on CremeSupreme. Today's guest is in the real estate space, in the business space in general, and I was actually quite surprised to hear that you're turning 26 this year.
Yeah, turning 26, 29th of March.
Bro, that is incredible to see, your vision and your drive and, at your age.
Yeah.
So do you want to introduce yourself and, give a little brief outline of what you do?
Yes. So I'm Misha van Riel. I'm a director at the Real Group. So we're a family-based business.
Is that where the name came from?
So actually, no, the name was actually before that. We recently, all of the brothers joined together in the business. So we recently, about a year ago, we decided all the brothers must come to the business. And my mom and dad had Van Riel Developers, which is a big developing company in the West Rand. So we all focus on high-end real estate. My oldest brother focuses on the operations of everything. Miguel, he's my second oldest brother. He focuses on developments, and then Mijan is on designs and architects, and I run all the sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've been in the business in general with family, you said, since you were 14.
Yeah, 14, that was to 2008. Yeah, that's when the recession just started. I don't know if you can remember, that's when the Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy. So all of the property, there was no property market. So that's when I started. We had over 200 200 properties in the market that time. Everybody said we were going to file for bankruptcy as well. There was no estate agents. Nobody wanted to help us. So my mom's like, Misha, you need to come. We need to sell this development out. Those times, social media didn't exist. So those times it was just on show boards, that we were jumping with 16 workers on the bucky, and we were showing Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays with my mom, and we sold that development out in 6 months plus transfer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking about show days and that kind of stuff, how times have changed now, especially with COVID. I mean, now you just have maybe a virtual walkthrough of the house. Yeah. Some people don't want randoms walking, even if you're trying to sell your house, you don't want randoms walking through your house, on a Sunday, or the agent. So, that's what's good about technology and how things have changed, because now the agent isn't waiting there for 3-4 hours. Obviously it still happens, but it's not always happening where on a Sunday an agent will take 4 hours out of their day and just sit at the house and hope people come. Or, now it's bookings are made, then you show the place. Or, how has... and is that a positive change that you've seen or not?
It is a positive change. Times have changed. People are looking after their security as well. In the high-end market that we work, so still your development side, I work in the developments as well. You still do your Sunday show days. You still do your weekend show days, because that's how you get feet in. That's where you more focus on the young adults, your first buyers. In the market that I work with my team, we focus on high-end. That's your 10 million plus houses up until 100 million. So you need to adapt with the client. You can't just bring a client. You can't just tell him, now listen, in 10 minutes I'm there, I'm bringing a client. So what we did is we moved away from the conventional real estate. We literally spend money to make money. So we run ad campaigns, we run lead gen campaigns, and we, we vet those clients. Yeah. Before we take
especially with high end, because you don't want time wasters. You don't want someone that's not a qualified buyer to come and waste an hour of the agent's time when they can't even afford a 1 million rand loan. Yeah.
So through the years, I started working, as I mentioned, 2008, sold from 200,000 rand properties up until 30-40 million rand properties. So you need to adapt into the market. It's a tough market, but a client buys into a person, and from my experience in the real estate, I just moved away from the whole conventional real estate agent to being a businessman with an NQ4 and an NQ5 grade. And I just said, how can I make real estate different? How can I put those property? I can't just stick it on private property and Property 24 and expect to get a lead on a 20 million rand house. So that's where my lead campaign comes in. Run lead campaigns on all portals, which I'm not going to mention now, otherwise everybody's going to do it. And that's how I get those clients in. I work with a lot of dignitaries, work with a lot of high-end people, and people like their discretion.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about our sellers. We don't talk about the buyer. I don't work for the seller. I don't work for the buyer. I work for the deal to make that deal work.
And, obviously, 10 million plus properties, you do need that discretion because you could have, as you said, dignitaries, or you could have, foreign businessmen, or someone that doesn't exactly want, the population to know the properties that they're interested in,
Yes,
or,
correct.
their financials, or any of that, because, you need to have discretion as an agent. And I assume you've obviously dealt with a lot of, high-end people, that if you even look at a dignitary, you think, this person shouldn't actually be able to afford this house. Like, where are they getting this money? Where are they, able to have the financing to be able to buy 15 million rand house cash as, an employee of the government?
Yeah, so I'm not focused on that. I just work for the deal. I think I grew up in a very, I don't want to say it out loud, but I grew up in a very privileged family. So I'm used to money. For me, it's not, I'm not working towards the money. If you work towards the money, you'll never make money. So if you work towards your passion and your purpose, you'll always have money. So for me, I don't care for them, just for me to make the money and move on, you understand?
Yeah, actually, I heard that a quote the other day, which is very similar, and it ties in. It's, the man that loves walking is going to walk way further than the man walking towards the finish.
True.
So essentially, if you're just working for money, you're not going to make as much money as someone that enjoys the process of making money, or enjoys the process of working. Because if you enjoy the process of what you do, if you enjoy, that daily hustle, each and every little milestone that you achieve is going to be way more beneficial and way more, impactful in your life than if you're just constantly looking at the end goal, or looking at, the final story.
Yes, even in the times that we're living in as well, and to relate with that, it's a bit of subject. It's, people our age, I mean, we're the same age, they get to an accident and they stop. For me, it's just like I go over, I accelerate. Even in these economical market, I just accelerate. And for me, I'm working towards a deal. I'm working towards the clients. For me, it's more to make an impression on those clients and for recurring business in the future. Building those relationships. For me, my network is everything. Your network is your net worth. You become who you associate yourself with. I don't associate myself with crap people. I only associate myself with people higher than me, bigger than me, and that can add value to me, and I can add value to them.
Yeah. Well, if you, look back in your life, because obviously you started with the family business very young, but do you have, memories of doing entrepreneurial things that maybe when you're 8 years old at school selling sweets, or, do you have any stories or recollection of that?
So growing up, I was bullied badly in school. I was never academical. I was always overweight, bad skin. I was the problem child, actually. So my mom, she said it wasn't that bad, but it was bad. That time I never had friends. I had to eat my lunch in the bathrooms. I always wanted to chase business. For me, business was everything. Yes, I started hustling I started 14 years old in the real estate with my parents. I grew up in a business family. We were speaking about money. We were speaking about problems. I knew the economical market those times. I started doing holiday hustle, sometimes working at a DIY. So a lot of my dad's manufacturers, I would ask them, can I just come work for a week just to check how it's done, and then check how I want to do it, check how I'll make money. But so for me, I was always focused on business, but I knew where I was going. Real estate was never my passion. I never wanted to do that. I never actually knew what I wanted to do. I just adapt a passion and a love for it. Yeah. I mean, you say with my parents, they're property people. You become like your parents at the end of the day.
No, you do. And, people, as you said,
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Okay. It does. People do become their parents, and people do, and usually it can be either beneficial or detrimental. I've seen people in my life where their parents are one way and they are happy to have the same life as their parents. Whereas, with maybe harder working parents and parents that aren't happy with, average, their children do want to strive to be like that or better. And, it's what, I remember when I came home from school, I'd watch TV. Then my dad would get home from work. I'd quickly turn off the TV and pretend I'm working, or pretend I'm fixing my bicycle, pretend I'm doing something constructive.
I think we all were like
that. Like he would, during school holidays, he would go and I would be sleeping, let's say 7 a.m, he would be leaving for work. He'd come in, open my curtains and be like, Jesse, get up and go do something productive. And, at the time I didn't understand it. At the time I was like, what is this guy doing? Why can't he just let me sleep? Why does he have to be so strict? It was obviously more, and it is true, all the time, but it is true that the Afrikaans culture was more like that because my dad is Afrikaans, and it was greatly beneficial for me because every day if I was going to school and I didn't make my bed, he would make sure that the domestic worker left the bed unmade, so that when I got home, I had to make it. And it was also obviously that army experience that our parents' generation had. Yeah, exactly. And it's those little things that just create discipline that your successful parents have, and they instill that into you growing up.
So for us, it was a bit different. My mom is Afrikaans. My dad is half Jew, half Dutch.
Okay.
So my dad is very hard. So for us, it was completely different. We had to make it all, if you don't have money, you don't have money. Yeah. So people look at my social media and people look at my family. We grew up hard, to be quite honest. Come out of a wealthy family, but we grew up hard. We worked for everything we have. We got a lot of handouts as well, fortunate enough. We've got loan accounts with our parents that we paid off. We must bring our business plans. But from a young age, we had to start with our business plans. We had to start telling my parents what our vision is, and we must start implementing it. So for me, I went out of school in grade 9, and I started working, homeschooling and working. No other government school wanted to accept me because I failed all my subjects in school because I was never called for school or never called for studying. And I had to go to artistic school. People didn't see that side of me. I had to go for artistic school, and there was nothing wrong with me, but that was the only school I could do my matric for 3 years. And I made such an impact on those people there. And from there, I just looked at myself and I'm like, you know what, Michelle, where are you going in life? What are you going to do? I know my thing is I want to make an impression on a person. I want to make an impact on a person. And what else to do than in real estate? To work with all these people. It's not always glamorous. It's one of the hardest. It's a terrible job, actually.
It's a 24/7 job.
I see between 10 to 15 clients per day, and that's just me. And then I've got a team also on the road. So that's just me seeing 10 to 15 clients per day, listing, selling, and that's just high-end people. And they're really tough people. I normally come in when 3 agents couldn't sell their house for the past 3 months. So they irritated, aggravated. I need to walk in there with the right energy. I need to guard my spirit above all else. And people like transparency. People just like honesty. If you can implement that into a business and in growing up, I promise you'll make a success out of your life. For me this year, this is my words, and it's again off subject, consistency. You can never fake consistency. Consistency is key. From a young age, I told myself I will never be poor. I said to myself, I will always make money, I will always be rich. And it's the same like now. I'm still working towards my goals, still working towards my vision, but nobody will stop me from my vision. And that's consistency.
You have to be consistent in anything, If people look at successful people and people with a lot of money or a lot of fame or a lot of anything, a lot of followers, whatever, it's people think, that happened overnight, or people think that, they had one lucky break. Yes, maybe there are lucky breaks, but it's a million things that you do every single day for, it could be 3 years, could be 1 year, it could be 10 years. Everyone is different. But it is that consistency, and it's doing the same thing every single day.
Day in and day
out. The same constructive things, the same things that are going to benefit you day in and day out. Because, at the end of the day, it's impossible. You can't look at someone and be like, they're lucky. Nobody's lucky. Even, people, if you look at our government, if you look at, our prime minister, or if you look at our ministers, if you look at our, all those people that seem like they're corrupt or seem like they're stupid, they make dumb decisions. They're not. They're smart. If they're in that position, they did a lot of things right to get in that position. If you look at our president, people can't say, or previous presidents before him, you can't say, oh, he's stupid. Look at the decisions. They've worked to be there. And I mean, who can really do that? There's a finite amount of people that have been presidents ever in any country, and you have to be a superior person and have that mindset of consistency and working hard, even if it's being consistently corrupt. But they at the end of the day, they still get there through hard work and through discipline.
So for me, it took me literally 13 years to tap into the high-end market. It took me 13 years. I had businesses that failed. I've had businesses with partners that still went on that I walked out of. You will fail. You will fall 10 times and you must just stand up there, or you'll fall 9 times and you must just stand up that 10th time. Yeah. So for me, it's just like like you said, for me, it's consistency. If you got that vision, I promise you nobody can take you off that track.
How is it being, 26 and working with high-end people that are earning, 5 million rand a month type of thing, and then you're this 25-year-old, 26-year-old coming in, selling them a property?
I think people buy into, like I said, into a person. So for them, older people in today's world, older people want to collaborate with younger people. We've got the tools, we've got the text that other conventional agents don't have. So for me, it's now people phone me off of my social media. A lot of high-end people follow me. For me, like I mentioned, your network is your everything. I network so much. I network with a vast type of people. So people know me already in the market. They know my parents in the market. So for me, money is money. I'm just working towards that deal and to make the money and to get recurring business.
But that's also with high-end people is, you service them correctly.
Look, they try to intimidate you.
Yeah, no, they would.
Don't get me wrong, they're trying to
intimidate you. Because they want the best
you.
deal out of it.
But for me, it's like, it's not about the money. I'm like, so it's to get your house sold. It's to get you the best possible price for your house. So for me, they don't normally ask my age. I think they think I'm older than what I am.
Yeah.
This is my casual off day. Normally I'm in suits, rocking up there at the house. You need to know your stock first. You need to know when you walk into a house, you need to know your finishes, your doors, your area. So before I go into a house or before I go into a estate, I know everything about that estate. So I can tell that seller stuff about his estate that he doesn't even know of. I can show him stats of sales we did, of clients we've got in the portal, of clients that's already there that send me proof of funds. So I'm walking in there prepared and I'm walking in there to get that house sold for him. And at the end of the day, a seller just wants to get their house sold. And a buyer just wants the house. It's about matching the right buyer with the right house, and matching the right seller with recurring business. Does that make sense? And getting more business in and selling him something again, and working on those relationships, and you'll have a long lasting relationship with those clients.
Well, I mean, it's important in any business to know your product.
Very important.
I'm sure everyone who's gone to a car dealership and tried to look at a new vehicle. I've done it at least twice where I'll be looking at a car. And I'm telling the salesman more than what he knows. Yes. I'm busy pointing out things. I'm like, oh, it's cool that it has this. I'm asking, does it have the maps that also come up on the dash? And then he's like, I'm not sure.
Yes.
But you should know your product, because the moment he says that, I'm like, bro, you don't even know your vehicle. You don't even know your product. If you don't believe in your product, how do you expect it to sell?
True. That's why even with my team, they need to go out with me for at least 3 months to shadow me. We had now a situation where one of my agents she's working on a big deal. It's about 18 million. We sold the house, cash deal, everything, and she didn't know it was in a business, and she didn't know there was VAT implications, VAT components, let's say it that way. And she didn't advise the clients right. But that's when we step in again, and that's why I tell them, like, where is also you need to get your paperwork right before you go in. Your client must sign your paperwork. So went in and we made the deal work, but I mean, it's a learning curve again. And I mean, she's 40 years old, but still you learn every day. You must just be teachable to learn every day from new people, from your sellers, from your clients. And a lot of people ask what differentiate my team from the other real estate brokers or our family from other property groups. We like to stay humble. That's the thing. Even if you can judge me off my social media, we like to stay humble. How I am now is I'm always. You will never change me. So for me, it's consistency, be humble, know your product, and just don't oversell yourself. How do I say it?
Undersell and overdeliver.
Overdeliver.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And have you seen, obviously, because, our parents' generation, as many people as who could afford it were always trying to buy up real estate and buy up property because they saw it as a good long-term investment. Have you seen a shift in the market now in at least South Africa where, the younger generation, let's say people our age, be like, nah, I'm happy to rent. It's actually, there's more financial freedom in renting because, tomorrow I could be like, nah, I want to leave. Obviously, depending on the contract, but, tomorrow I want to leave, and then you go, and then you don't have to think about a bond, or you don't have to think about, I've paid this place off, now I have to live here, or I have to try sell it. Have you seen a shift?
Our generation, they're not educated. That's why we need these type of podcasts to educate people. Our generation like to buy cars. They like to be flashy with cars. They want to impress. They want to go out. They want to drink. They're not around the right circle to get the right advice. So for me, instantly, I would rather buy a smaller car, but I'll invest into property. So when we started, or when my parents started, we gave ourselves two chances. One, to create wealth and second, to wealth and prosperity. And for us, we gave ourselves two chances to make it. And I was just, so that's why I want to tap into the younger people, to educate them, to say, property is the way to go. You need property. You need those passive income. I mean, we're going now, 2008 was your first recession. We're going now through our third one. Our passive income helped us up until now. You understand? We're still doing developments, but you're doing it on a year. Your cash flow is locked up inside of there. But your passive income is so important. Our passive income helped us so many ways to survive. So for me, I want to educate younger people into not buying cars and going out. Rather, take that rental money, put it in a bond, and forget about it. You're paying somebody else's bond off.
Yeah, and it's as you say, the flashy cars. It's unfortunate because you'll go to look at a property. You'll go and let's say $1 million to 2.5 million rand flats, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom flats.
That's the type of that's our rental market, which we privately own.
And when you go there, you'll probably see cars that are also worth $1 million rand.
Yes.
And these people, they could maybe afford to live in a 3.5 million rand house, maybe have a 500,000 rand car, but instead they'll have $1 million rand car and live in a $1 million rand house.
They're not educated. I can see it even on our developments. That we sell, people will drive in there with G-Wagons. They will drive in there with your top of the top Aston Martins, Mercs, BMWs, and they're happy to be in a 2 million rand house, but they don't understand they can have more and still drive a car, but not that type of model. But they're not educated. People aren't educated. That's where we must come in as a younger generation and try to educate those people in the business field that we're good at.
And, I don't, obviously, because more people will see you in your car than they will see your house. But at the end of the day, I would rather go home to a more beautiful, more well-equipped, more modern house than just be driving on the road and have someone say, "Yo, look at his car."
Exactly.
It's also self-confidence. I think a lot of it is probably rooted in self-confidence and, compensating for something and, having to show the world. And that's what social media has also created, is having to show the world, look, I'm successful, or look, I'm this. But also, you don't know that person's paying off, 90% of their salary goes to paying off the car.
I don't think people follow cars anymore except on social media. I think they follow business ethics lately. And
there has been a shift in social media where, especially like with Instagram Reels, where there's been a lot of more motivational talks, a lot more, self-help guides, and a lot more of, workout videos being motivational, speaking about your, your change in lifestyle in terms of, losing weight, now training with Jono and Jack. You say you lost 14 kgs
lost 14
so far.
kilos, and that also, you don't understand how that also helped me in progressing in my business. They're amazing people, amazing coaches, but I mean, everything starts with your temple. Everything starts with your mind and your body. And if you get that right, and if you get into your fitness, well, let's say if you get into eating plan, eating right, I had to change. I was surrounded all of a sudden just by fitness people. So that's, again, you become, you associate yourself with. That's why I said to myself, okay, this is one thing you wanted to accomplish. And everything starts with your mindset: business, wealth, prosperity, relationships, and health. It starts with your health. And all of that will trickle down into business when you start living a healthier lifestyle. So they made a huge impact on my life, and
And that's, people don't understand. People say, well, I'm making money. I definitely went through a stage when I first started making money where I let myself go slightly more because I'll be working harder, working longer hours. And then I'll say, it's not the end of the world. I'm working hard. I'm making more money. Let me just have a cheat meal, or let me just have, pizza 4 or 5 times a week or whatever. And that was,
put you in depression.
It was counterintuitive. It was counterintuitive to my business growth. My business was growing, but my actual mindset towards myself was degrading, and it was getting worse. And then, the more you start to look after yourself, look after your body, look after your mind, look after, everything that as you say, your temple, your business is going to grow because you're eating better, you're eating healthy fats. So your mind is able to work and function at a better, rate. You have more energy because you're fueling yourself properly, and that helps you in business. I mean, if you look at all these super successful overweight businessmen, having heart attacks, or because it's also the lifestyle. It's have a business dinner, have a few drinks, go home, work late, get little sleep, get even more overweight, and it's bad.
I think every young upcoming business person must start investing into their personal health and fitness. Get yourself a trainer. So for me, I pay for what I want. I took these past 2 years and I said, I'm going to invest into myself, and I will see invest into me, and I'll pour that value back into them. But I've got a saying in my life, in any business, in the presence of value, price becomes inconsequential. So for me, I drive an hour and 30 minutes to gym and back every morning. For me, it's my time. People say you're mad. It's not. I'm not mad. That's my quiet time in the morning. That's my time where I don't know anybody at gym. I go. I can speak about my failures. I can speak about positive stuff around positive people, and they help me and they add value to me and creating my temple. And it doesn't make sense to getting myself a better body. And when I started with that mindset of health and fitness, I promise you, my whole business model changed.
People overlook health and fitness. People overlook, even just, turning off their phone in the evening and rather reading a book, because that's maybe...
People lost the whole passion. I think COVID, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, it's cool.
People lost the whole passion. People lost themselves during COVID as well. So for me, you need to adapt. You need to be a forward thinker. You need to be around the right people. I mean, everything starts with your daily routines, how you dress, how you smile, how you act. If you can just dress good, smile good, and act good, I promise you, your clothes, people will stop you. You must work with firstly, what I had to work on is your attitude. And I think when you start to believe in yourself, you can close any business deal. Nobody can set that mindset off.
Yeah, confidence
is key.
Yeah, especially.
And that's what Jack and John are so good at. They're flipping good at what they do. And everybody's like, yes, but you lately just surrounding yourself with personal trainers. I'm like, but they make more money than you. I said, and they're adding value into me, and they're adding knowledge into me. My dad has got a saying. He said, if you sit around a person, like let's say me and you sit and we chat, and you take 1% out of that conversation, let's say we sit here for 2 hours, and you implement that in your life, you're 1% better. So when I go to gym and I get something valuable from John or from Jack or from whoever I meet, and I add that into my life, I'm 1% better than what I walked into there.
Yeah. Taking and gleaning what you can from people is, it's an attribute that all successful people have. And it's most successful people want to learn and have the humility to be like, I don't know everything. I am not, this all-knowing person that knows everything. There is more for me to learn. And there is, even you now, even working in real estate since 14, you also know that there's still more for you to learn. Because everything,
I learn every day.
Yeah, and it's always changing.
If I'm going to stop that mindset, I promise you I can stop my business tomorrow.
Because the dynamics of work, the work environment, social media, all of it is constantly changing. And there's a constant flux of, 1 week something works, the next week something does, even lead generation. Getting a lead one way, in 2 months' time, certain algorithms have changed, and you need to adapt, and you need to change, and you need to make certain, changes to, yield the same results as what you were doing then, but you need to go about it a different way.
Same in my business as well, with the lead generation as well. I only work on lead generations. I've got my other property portals for our lower average price properties. But even a client as well, you don't understand when that lead comes in. I've got an app on my phone. I've got a lady that sits at the back. She knows exactly when that lead comes in. You've got 2 minutes to catch that lead. It's exactly like a person. You follow through with what you say you're going to do, and you follow back with that client until that client buys or dies, and that's in any business. And I promise you, although he won't buy now, I promise you, just for giving him that attention, he'll come back in 3 months. Sometimes I drive with clients for 6 months. It's not for me about the money.
It's being client focused. It's about delivering that value proposition to your clients, and showing them that in this point in time in their life, they are the most important person to you.
Yes.
And
remember, they're buying. Now we're going back into real estate. They're buying a possession that they're going to create memories. They're buying a thing, but they're going to start a family.
They're buying into a lifestyle.
It's a lot of money. You understand? So you need to treat those people like it's your own. You need to treat that whole deal like it's your own.
And with high-end people, those are the people that also, if you've made a good impression on them, they're going to buy and sell, because if you've got the kind of money, you get tired of your 10 million rand house. Next year, you want to move to a 15 million rand house. You want to buy more properties as an investment. And, you know, if you've created that relationship with them, they're just going to continue to use you.
Again, in that thing, you need to know what you're doing. I've been tutored a lot by clients in my life. And now I've got the confidence. Now I know my value. I know my market. And I know what to say to the right buyer. It's a different emotions. And it's a different vibration. And it's actually, we can talk about this for hours, but it's so special to give that client this house. And to say, I mean, who else from 26 hours at 80 million rand property? You understand? That's why our younger generation, they don't want to work. For some reason, they don't believe in hard work. Real estate people think, I get DMs daily, about 30, 40 DMs daily of people messaging me, hey, how can I get into real estate? Oh, your life looks so glamorous. It's not glamorous at all. It's just what you make it. They don't know where I started. So for me, it's just hard work. For people of today, people don't want to work. Again, I'm going back there. They don't want to work. They think it's easy money. You must literally take 6 months to a year to create money. Your first deal actually in real estate, you need to prove to those clients, I mean, you're a new kid on the block. You need to prove to that client you can sell his own. You need to, I remember when I started, yes, that time you could have logged into Lightstone and you can get numbers and you can phone them. And I was doing cold calling day in and day out, 3 hours per day, lead genning. And that's how I actually came over my rejection as well, facing those fears of those people.
You're going to get rejected a lot.
But you don't understand. I still get rejected daily. But it's about, I know I'm the best at what I do. For me, I'm the best at what I do. I know my product. You need to be confident in your product. You need to be confident in who you are. And I think clients like that confidence. I think older people like that confidence. Interesting times, interesting market.
But I mean, if you look at, a guy trying to win over a girl, the guy that's more confident is, like, let's say there's a very average looking guy who's more confident and he asserts himself. He is going to do better with a girl than the guy that's maybe good looking.
It happened all my life. I was never confident in that. Never, ever confident in that. I was like, yes, your school rejection comes on you again. I mean, like, yes, you can't be with such a hot girl. Oh, you understand? That person is better looking, better built. But if you have confidence, people love it. In relationship, business, people love confidence.
What brought about that change, from being, maybe a bit, not sure of yourself to becoming more assertive?
Associating yourself with the right people. I think really your network is your net worth. I'm saying it again. Associating yourself with the right people who pour in you, people who pour value in you, who sees potential in you. Just you can work with potential. And the people that I'm surrounding myself with lately, they make me feel confident, they make me feel good, and through that I adapt and I add value into their lives and they add value into my life as well.
And I think a big aspect also is, finding a mentor, finding someone, just obviously surrounding yourself with many great people, but one person that you're looking to help you in certain aspects. You maybe even you find a mentor in just your health journey. You find a mentor in just your business journey. You found a mentor just in, your spirituality.
Yes.
For you and your business, was it your parents that were your mentor, or who was it?
So for me, my mom will always say we grew up cocky balls. It means we grew up not dysfunctional, but we had to adapt in those times. They had to go out, they had to work and everything like that. My parents was always active in our lives. But I think my biggest mentor and the person that I look up to is my mom, because she was always there. I mean, my mom runs 28 successful companies. She's the gatekeeper of our company. She runs the finances. I was always close to her. I was always with her. She taught me negotiations. She taught me deals. She taught me how to work with clients. She taught me how to work with your emotional intelligence. I think for me, we fight a lot, but I think out of a mentor stage, I will go to her always. If I'm in trouble with a deal, I'll phone her always. Out of a other perspective, I don't actually have a South African mentor, but I'm going to get one soon.
But also a mentor doesn't have to be, someone that, you call when you wake up and ask some advice or whatever. A mentor can also just be watching a podcast consecutively of someone that you find great value in, and you find, if you look at Joe Rogan or, he can be a mentor for people. He was essentially a mentor for me for a podcast, because I would, when starting out, I'd look at how I was interviewing people, and then I would be like, okay, what changes can I make? Let me watch a Joe Rogan interview to see, his flow from question to question.
You need to fill yourself with the right stuff every day.
Yeah, you do.
I actually had such a funny, somebody called me the other day. They're like, one of my friends, I haven't seen him for like 5 years. And he was, that time, my parents always told me to add value into a person. Always told me to, when a person is struggling, try to uplift them. Always like, I'm a giving person. I'll always pay for lunch from a small age. Like, Mom, listen, I need to stick this friend for lunch. He's going through not the greatest of times, and he needs encouragement. I need to stick him for lunch. And one of my other friends, it's so weird. The people you meet, you need to nurture that relationships. You need to never mess up a relationship. I messed up a lot of relationships in my life because I didn't have the wisdom and the guidance to nurture that relationship. And he phoned me the other day and he said to me, Misha, can I invite you for lunch? And he's in his 30s. He owns one of the biggest diesel depots that I know of. And he said to me, remember those times where you were there for me when I had nothing? You didn't even know I had nothing, but I literally had 1,000 rand in my bank account. I'm like, I remember those times, but I didn't know you didn't have money. And he's like, listen, I just want to stick you for lunch today for the impression you made on my life. And that guy is sitting with multiple streams of income now. And for me, and he's about 15 years older than me, but I made an impact on his life. And check where he's sitting now. And that's rewarding for me.
Yeah.
That's rewarding for me. Even with my clients as well. I try to make an impression on them. I try to leave an impression and to make their life better, to just create a solid, good deal and a good relationship with them, recurring relationships.
Yeah. And that kindness in business is, it's
never forget.
It's great. It's greatly overlooked in business is kindness. People think in business the only way to, make it and get a step ahead of someone else is to, stab them in the back or to, make deals that they aren't included in. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but kindness is key in business. If you are kind to people, if you are caring, if you truly care about the person's property that you are selling, you're going to create more value to them. They're going to see more value in you. True. You're going to create a longer lasting impression than someone that, is kind of just coming in as let's say you've listed the property and another agency comes in and tries to steal the deal from you. That's not kindness.
Yes.
That kindness isn't that taste that it's going to leave in that person's mouth. Yes, maybe the person that's selling the property might agree to go with this other agency, but that's not how you start relationships. That's not how you end relationships. And especially in a market, the top real estate companies in the country, it's a very small community actually, and everybody knows the good agents. Everyone knows the snaky agents. Everyone knows each other. People and they know their business models. And if you don't work with kindness, if you don't work with humility, while still being confident, your name, people are going to know about it.
Name is everything. And also during these times as well, and that's what I always tell people who's around me and my friends that's around me, you need to work on those relationships. You need to, especially now in times we're living in, you need to do collaborations with people in any sort of business they're in. You need to collab with people. For me, when I know one of my friends or let's say he's an electrician, I will make sure he gets like a job, you understand, because I know what time he's going to send me somebody. But it's not about that. But during these times, we must take hands, especially our younger youth, and we must collab together, and there's a slice of cake for everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, you must never overlook a collaboration. I mean, I remember there was an advert once. Can't remember.
We just spoke about one now before we came in.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't remember this one I'm talking about now is, I don't know if it was McDonald's towards Burger King or Burger King towards McDonald's, but one of the McDonald's branches, let's say, was closed. And they said, hi guys, unfortunately we are closed. Please make use of the Burger King next door. Sure. Something like that. I mean, they direct competition with each other. But, that person that's reading, McDonald's is referring me to Burger King. You know what? Next week, let me come to McDonald's. We'll be like, that's real, humble of McDonald's to still promote their competition.
I did that a lot in my life. Even the top real estate brokers now, when they know you're only good at, how do you say it? You're good at what you do. You must be good at what you do. You must know what you're doing and you're good at it. So for me, I started a brokerage club. So for me, I'm collabing with top brokers from, let's say, Meyersdal and Johannesburg and Sandton and Cape Town. I'm collabing with them. I'm getting into my pool. So when I know I've got a client, I send it to him and we split the comp. That's how I build relationships in my work, in my community. And those people, when they've got sellers, again, I've got agents from Cape Town phoning me. They're like, listen, are you open for a collab? I've got clients in Joburg. I see how you work. Can we do sort of a collaboration? I'm like always open to stuff like that. And that's how I built my networks in my job that I do. And it's successful. I promise you, people talk.
And it would be naive not to, because I know obviously I've got one of my closest mates is also in real estate. And, he will have a qualified buyer and you'll see a property and you'll go to the agent, like, I've got a buyer for you. Do you want to obviously do maybe a deal on the commission? And that agent will be like, no.
But that's
which makes no sense.
That's okay. Then you just sell him something else. Yeah. They lose out. Like I say again, if you can just, there's a whole cake for everybody. If you can just take a piece of that cake, I promise you, they don't have that money anyway.
Yeah, it's people. It's greed. Unfortunately, as people's greed, it's no. If I'm not going to make the sale, no one's going to make the sale.
I believe in the thing that God vindicates you always. For me, I just vision. If I'm like, let's say for instance, there's a house in the estate, a big estate. I was eyeing this house for 3 years. And I said to my mom with the one night, I said, I can't get these details of these houses. These agents doesn't want to deal with me. I said, the house is on the market for long. I've got clients for the house. They only want to work through me. 3 years after that, 2 weeks ago, that lady of that exact same house that I envisioned, I'm selling that house.
Sure.
And I've got clients taking in there. So for me, it's just, but you envision what you want and you can get it. So for me, God always vindicates me. God is, and I will always speak about God. God has helped me through a lot of stages in my life. For me, it's a big thing. And just grateful.
Yeah. Awesome, bro. I want to say thank you so much for coming on. This was great.
Pleasure. Thanks.
And I hope you guys can find, well, you definitely will find value in this.